the La Sportiva TX4 versus TX3. A couple of weeks ago, I put up my first impressions on the TX4. This is an approach style shoe that I bought for off-trail trekking. Overall, I've been very impressed with the shoe. If you go look at that first impression video, I go over everything in detail about the shoe, but it's extremely comfortable, it's extremely tough. I find that it's a very precise shoe and it fits me really well. I've had no issues in terms of comfort or performance of the shoe. It's surpassed my expectations. The only feature of this shoe that doesn't really match with my style of backpacking and trekking is the fact that the upper is a split leather. So when that gets wet, and it will get wet, it'll get soaked and it's gonna take a long time to dry. Right after posting that first impression video, someone commented that the shoe I was looking for is the TX3. I picked up a pair. The TX3s are identical to the TX4s in every way, except for the mesh upper, which is a synthetic breathable material. It's got the same Vibram sole, the same fit, the same kind of rock plate all around and toe guard, same climbing zone on the front. Something that I didn't mention in my first impression of the TX4 is the way that the tongue is designed. It's pretty much attached all the length of the instep, not just at the bottom and not completely on both sides. So as you tighten the shoe, it gets pushed in on one side only. So there's no folds or anything like that. To me, that means that the shoe is just really comfortable. I used the TX3s over this past weekend on a 50-kilometer backpacking trip. I did 25 kilometers each day. It was a fairly standard on-trail backpacking trip, no off-trail or anything particularly rough, but it rained a ton and I crossed a fair amount of rivers. Overall, I was really impressed. In my mind, the shoe performs exactly like the TX4s in terms of fit and comfort. I didn't get a single blister, even though it was the first time I used the shoe, and they dried out very quickly on the second day after it stopped raining and the trails dried up, which is exactly what I'm looking for. When you're out trekking and you're in wet weather, there's no question that your feet are going to get wet. Even if you have waterproof breathable shoes, eventually water's going to go in by the top and they're going to get soaked. And then it becomes a question of how long does it take for them to dry out once the conditions are dry. And these started to dry out very fast, maybe not as fast as an extremely thin, lightweight trail runner, but still fast enough and definitely much more so than if they were a leather shoe. So it's turned into a pretty steady shower and I'm about half a kilometer away from where I'm gonna stay tonight. I'm completely soaked. So my upper body's pretty good, but I've been walking through willows and overgrown trail, so my legs are completely soaked. My feet are completely soaked, obviously. In terms of durability, I think that these are gonna be very good. It looks like a normal running shoe mesh, but it is not. It is very, very burly. I've never seen this kind of material before. It's a very porous mesh, but it is extremely thick. So durability, I think, is gonna be excellent, but guaranteed the durability of this mesh is not gonna be the same as the leather if you're actually toe jamming and doing real scrambling. Overall, I'm really happy that I got these shoes. They're gonna see a ton of use. Why would you want a synthetic breathable material over the leather material, or vice versa? The synthetic material is just a better option for trekking where your feet are gonna get wet. I don't pay any attention to rivers or streams. I just cross them. Eventually you're gonna get stuck in the rain and you're gonna get soaked. If they're just plain leather, they're gonna take forever to dry out. On the other hand, the TX4s are a phenomenal scrambling shoe and day hiking shoe. If you do get your feet wet because of a thunderstorm or something like that, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything because your day's gonna end anyways, and regardless of the kind of shoe, your feet would have been soaked. So I think this is a phenomenal shoe and it's gonna get a lot of use for my day trips where I go scrambling and it's more training. I don't think you can really go wrong with either the TX3 or TX4 so long as you get the shoe based on your type of use. They're in a different category than any other shoe that I've used before, just in terms of their fit, their performance, the materials, and the build quality. And there's a reason why you'll hear about people who are on their third or fourth or fifth pair of TX3s or TX4s.